to comfort you and calm you down and let you rest now. The woman in your life, she can rest so easily.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Women's Spaces. My name is Elaine Holtz and I'm your host. And as always, I am so excited about the shows that I am doing, particularly about this one, because I have a special guest by the name of Beth Blevins, who is the North Bay coordinator for Gather the Women Global Matrix. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Beth. Welcome to Women's Spaces.
Thanks, Elaine. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell me a little bit how you got involved with Gather the Women.
Well, it's an interesting story of guidance and synchronicities. I learned about it through another organization I'm involved with called Vessels of Peace, which is about embodying peace on this planet through the sacred feminine. And after exploring the website, gatherthewomen.org, I fell in love with the organization and their vision, and saw that they were having congresses coming up in a month, and the closest one was in Walnut Creek. And I thought, well, that's a bit of a hike, but I'll see if I can get some friends together and go down and check it out. And a voice within said, no, you're to hold one here. And my response was, you've got to be kidding. Thank you, but my plate is already full and it's a month away. How am I going to pull that off? You are to gather the women in the circles of Sonoma County. So I argued a bit more, but I've learned at this stage in my life that life goes much more smoothly when I follow divine guidance. So once I surrendered to it, everything started falling into place. I contacted the leadership circle of Gather the Women, and they had some reservations because I was so new. I said, is it too late, to hold a gathering? And then after having a conversation with these wonderful women, I knew that it was definitely an organization I wanted to be involved in. And then I asked a few friends who facilitate circles in Sonoma County to come over or to talk about the power of the circle. And I thought, well, we'll have a few women over at my home, but the interest was so great that it turned into 40 women. And women just offered poetry and music, and turned out Gather the Women has this wonderful DVD called Seeding Circles that with Jean Houston, Jean Shinoda Bolin, and Barbara Marx Hubbard talking about women's wisdom and the power of transforming ourselves in the world.
Well, you said something very important that I really want to hit home with my listeners. You said, how can I do this? How can I pull this off? I want to bring the gathering local. How can I do it? And you heard the voice say, giving you this suggestion, and you're just kind of going, oh my goodness, I have too much on my plate. And that's exactly what happened to me with Women's Spaces. When all of a sudden I heard the calling to do a television show, and I thought, wait a minute, I'm in my 60s. How can I get in front of a camera? But somehow I did it, and somehow you did it. And you made it happen because you had faith in yourself and you had faith in what you were about to bring forward. So my hat is off to you. I just need to say that because I believe from the bottom of my heart that women need to be encouraged to get involved. And when they hear women like yourself decided to take that step and you were a success, I think it gives other women courage. I'm really curious, how did this global network of women, how did it come about? Where was its roots?
Well, a woman named Carol Hansen Gray, who was the executive director of an organization called Women of Action, which was a network for women leaders who were practicing the principle of being the change they wanted to see in the world. And women from diverse areas came to her and said they were having visions of the need for women to gather together for the benefit of the world. And so many women came that they eventually established a website and then put out a call to women to gather. And the first gathering was for International Women's Day on March 8th in 2003. And that ended up, and women responded, and ended up being 4,700 women gathered in groups all over the globe.
What you're saying is that, again, you're talking about the vision. You know, these women were calling for a gathering because they were having a vision. And, you know, I have to go back to 2 interviews that I did. One was with a woman by the name of Jyoti, who had the calling to bring 13 indigenous grandmothers together.
Yes.
And then we have Sharon McLaren, who is doing the Grandmothers Speak. And, you know, so it feels like to me, and you having a vision, me having a vision, all these things starting to happen, you know, you begin to wonder if there's not something mystically or globally, collectively calling for the gathering of women. And, you know, all women. You know, one of the things that I'm noticing more and more is that there is such an absence of women of color. And this, by the way, this is going to air probably on Black History Month. And we're going to announce the workshop. And I would encourage my African American sisters, my Asian sisters, my Native American sisters to check out Gather the Women, because we need to all come together collectively, because we are women. You know, one of the things about the poem that I wrote, I am woman, I am all women, I go beyond color.
The gathering is a lot of fun and a day of inspiration and connecting from the heart. And Gather the Women doesn't take a stance on any particular political or religious or economic issue. We come together to empower each other, to empower women to find their voice, to connect with others, to share our stories, to share wisdom, to take conversation from a social exchange to a deeper spiritual level about the issues that we're concerned about, and to find our voice and take that voice out beyond the family into the community and the country and around the globe. And not, so we're taking the voice of the mother out into the community and the business, the workplace, and the globe.
Well, go ahead, continue. What other things would you like to share about this group?
Not only is it inspiring and educational and finding our voice, it's also a lot of fun.
It's good to have fun.
Yes, we have fun and good food. You know, those are 2 key ingredients. We do breakout circle discussions in the afternoon, and these are facilitated by local circle leaders.
You know, I don't want people to be intimidated, because oftentimes women or people, when they hear about breakout circles, are we going to have to talk, or are we going to have to participate? Can you just explain just a little bit, just to make it, to let it be known that doing stuff like this is a lot of fun?
Yeah. When we break out into circle, it's 6 or 7 women at the most in a circle. And it's facilitated by women who are experienced in leading circles. And we're really discussing, relating the theme of this gathering, which is woman-to-woman mindful heart connection, of what that means to us and how we relate it, how it serves the issues that we're concerned about. And so it's just a relaxed time. You have the choice of speaking or not speaking, and, you know, in a small group. And we create a safe environment where we're building relationships and supporting each other.
It sounds like it's a gathering to not only inform, but also to encourage and to offer support. You know, because I think oftentimes, especially women who, excuse me, I'm just going to flash on that we're listening to Women's Spaces here, particularly women who want to get involved, but they feel so alone in it. You know, it sounds like this is a gathering, a way that people can come together, can support one another, and besides that, get some information and find out that, hey, I'm not alone in my thinking. You know, oftentimes we feel very isolated in our thinking, and I think this is a very, very important gathering. I really want to thank you, Beth, and I want to thank you for the job that you're doing, that you were able to bring this wonderful, wonderful program locally, and thank you so much for coming to Women's Spaces.